So I just completed this IT course by Josh Madakor, and in this video I'm going to give you a full review and breakdown so you can decide whether or not this is what you should do too. I'm a career changer, so just like many of you watching this video, I'm a beginner with most things IT and cybersecurity, and my goal is to secure a solid six-figure income in IT and cybersecurity. But what does that even mean? Well, if you look at the chart that I just put on the screen, you'll see that in the beginning of breaking into IT, you can start as an entry-level IT support position, which is the job that this course helps you get. But from there, you can branch off into so many different fields, right, that pay very well. You can easily make a great living for yourself. For example, if you look at the chart, you'll see that from IT support, you can transition into a system administrator role, earning $90,000 to $110,000 a year. Or maybe you're like me and you want to transition into a security analyst role that has a starting salary of $80,000 but can easily reach into $150,000 a year. So I think I'll be a great judge of this course because I literally didn't know many of the concepts. I'm not coming from a previous knowledge base. I literally had to learn all of the information that's being taught in this course. This course is worth $499. So if you've been thinking about whether or not you want to take the course in IT by Josh Madakor, you've been thinking about changing careers, you're trying to break into the tech industry, or you just want to know what tall, bald black guys do in their free time, definitely watch this video. Also, there is a huge game-changing tip that I want to share with you about applying to jobs that beats mass applying, so you can kind of circumnavigate the sending 300 applications and crossing your fingers hoping you get an interview, that I learned from this course that I really believe is a game changer. So even if you don't sign up for this course, at least you'll be able to take something away from this video that is very valuable. Okay, time investment. They say this course takes about 4 to 12 weeks to complete, and I'd say that's pretty accurate because it took me about 1 month to complete this course, and I was working full-time. I was really just barely finding any spare time to complete this course. There's multiple different labs that we did inside this course. Some of those labs took 2 hours to complete, and all in all, even though I work full-time, it really only took me about a month to complete this course, and that's including the final exam. Now, is the time commitment realistic for people who are working professionals, people who have a other full-time commitment? I really think so, but I think it's important to note, for me specifically, I really was committed to this. This is a decision that I've made. I am breaking into technology. I am going to get an IT support position, and it didn't really matter to me. Like, I'm not leaving it up to chance, basically. So I made the time. But with that being said, maybe I only spent maybe 10 to 12 hours every single week invested in this course. And like I said, whenever I had free time, whether that was me taking a break or just me coming home and then just spending time studying, it only took me really a month. Now, I do recommend allocating some time to work on the labs because we work in the cloud a lot. We use Microsoft Azure, and it might take you some time to get the hang of using that type of cloud technology. It's not gonna come super naturally, but really a big benefit in this course, which I'll talk about in one of the later categories, is that Josh Madakor emphasizes a lot to do the labs over and over and over again. Now, this course is self-paced, so it can be as short or as long as you make it. I've heard testimonials of people completing this course in 2 weeks. I've heard testimonials of people completing this course in 1 year. It's really just how hungry are you? Are you going to put the work in, or are you just going to kind of put it in the back burner? But as somebody who worked full-time and putting time away, spare time to work on this course, it only took me about a month. For time investment, I definitely give this a 9 out of 10. I think this is a good score because my time was spent mostly building skills. I've taken the Coursera cybersecurity course and I think I built skills, but definitely not as strong as this Course Careers IT support course right here. That Coursera course where I studied cybersecurity, it took me 6 months to complete that, and I did many labs, but there wasn't really the emphasis to do the labs over and over and over again. Like Coursera, maybe we completed like 15, 16 different labs, and in this course, I only completed 7 labs, but every single one of those labs I did at least 5, 6 times. Labs definitely need to be done more than once because repetition is the mother of all skills. It helps build what scientists call procedural memory and reinforces neuroplasticity, which strengthens your brain's ability to learn and retain those skills. So for this first category, definitely going to give it a 9 out of 10. Now for teaching quality, I'll be honest, I really like Josh Madakor. I think he's a great guy, but I think he's a good teacher, not a great teacher. But I also don't think that's a bad thing to say. He keeps the scope of each lesson narrowly defined. He stays on track. But I think his real strength is his experience. He has a lot of experience. He has a lot of success in the career. He's basically at the end game of IT. And what I also really liked about Josh Madakor is that he's quick to point out he doesn't know this or he doesn't know everything. He's not arrogant with his success. And I also like the fact that he points out that even though he doesn't know everything, it's not that big a deal. And he has a CISSP. And if you don't know what CISSP is, that's a very advanced certification that you can only receive if you've been working in an IT professional job or you have 5 years of IT experience. CISSP stands for Certified Information System Security Professional. Basically, when you have this type of certification, recruiters are emailing you and spamming you all the time for a job. Josh Madakor takes his time to explain the concepts visually, which is really what I benefited from. He would take his time to break down the lab that you're about to do. He'd have his slides, and I'd be able to really see conceptually what he was doing before we went into the lesson or before we went into the lab. Some concepts are really difficult to understand, so having that visual just helps to be able to conceptualize it so you can just partially or fully grasp it before you dig into it. However, other concepts like subnet masking, calculating binary can be very difficult to understand because it's not intuitive. You'll really need to watch supporting videos on YouTube to be able to understand it fully and fully grasp it. Josh Madakor does recommend this in every single lesson. He gives you a high-level overview, but he points out, hey, after this lesson, definitely go watch some auxiliary YouTube videos to help you fully grasp this concept. I personally recommend using ChatGPT as well as watching auxiliary videos. That really helped me conceptualize some of these complex topics, like for example subnet masking. Subnet masking is basically subnet masking helps you understand what portion of an IP address belongs to the network and what portion of the IP address belongs to the hosts or the clients on that network. And for me, the concept that helps me get it is the network portion of it is like different neighborhoods, different blocks, and then the host part of it is like different houses in those neighborhood blocks. Like that works for me. Conceptualizing it means basically relating it back to something that you already know. That is what really helps you get these concepts. Now, I've created a couple YouTube playlists that has many auxiliary videos from other YouTube channels that have already broken down a lot of these concepts, like different protocols, what is a server, what is IP addressing, TCP, IP, the OSI model. I have a playlist of videos that you can find in the description that will help you understand these concepts more. I recommend watching them again and again. Now for teaching quality, I really want to give it an 8 out of 10 because I like Josh Madakor, but if I'm fair, I think 7 out of 10 is more accurate. He's a good teacher. I wouldn't say he's like the greatest teacher of all time, but his real value comes from his massive experience, right? There's just certain things that you know when you've been in the industry for a long time that provides the real value. But I also think his ability is not necessarily breaking down and helping you conceptualize these concepts, right? In order for you to digest the information, you kind of have to rely on outside information outside of the course, and that's why I would give it a 7 out of 10 out of an 8 out of 10. But you know, he does a great job. I will say that he does do a great job. But where I think he really shines is the next category, which I'm going to rank, which is skill building. Now for skill building, I'm just going to say it right now. I'm going to give this category a 10 out of 10, and here's why. Josh Madakor definitely picked incredible labs for this course, and he emphasizes doing them over and over and over again. And like I mentioned before, this really helps a lot. There's one lab in particular is where you're deploying and configuring an on-premises Active Directory using virtual machines in Microsoft Azure, which I know is super technical. If you have no idea what that is, basically we built computers in the cloud and we installed Active Directory on it. Active Directory is a program that we use to manage users and clients within a domain or a network of computers. This is a highly technical project. At first, I had to go really slow. I had to take my time, and I had to follow Josh Madakor's example. He has a complete step-by-step ABC 1, 2, 3 explanation where he's bringing you through each part of the lab. And I'm just sitting there just trying to follow every single detail. It's almost like threading a needle, you know, like you have to be really delicate and slow and meticulous. But after I did it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, I got better and better and better, and it just became intuitive until I got to the point where now I'm helping other people in the Discord community with their labs. Also, these labs are highly relevant to the job of an IT support technician. They prepare you for the technical challenges of this type of work, and to be honest, they're borderline system administrator work. So you're kind of like expanding your skill set even beyond an IT support and touching into system administration. I think that'd be highly attractive to people who are looking for you to fill these IT support positions. Now, I would also like to recommend really taking your time. I cannot emphasize this enough. Take your time when you're going through these labs. Make sure you learn and understand each part of the lab. See how they all work together. See how they all intertwine. Make sure you grasp what you're doing. Don't just blindly follow Josh. For example, we installed and configured a help desk ticketing system called OS Ticket. And we needed to use a lot of different auxiliary programs like PHP, MySQL, HeidiSQL, and IIS. Josh doesn't really explain what these programs are in that particular lab, but they're very important. For example, PHP is a server-side scripting language for web servers that allows them to grab HTML files. At least that's what I've learned about PHP. There's probably way more uses for that, but that's what I learned for the sake of this project. MySQL or MySQL is a database or a library, and HeidiSQL is almost like the librarian that helps you organize and comb through that database. You can also look at HeidiSQL as like the librarian's tool. And IIS turns your Windows 10 computer into a server. All in all, the main point I'm trying to make is just take your time to learn how the individual parts work for the lab. It'll really be able to help you when you're in the interviews and you're explaining what your project is like. Or as you can see from my portfolio that I have on GitHub, I have videos that I'm explaining the project, and they're very smooth and they come off natural, like I know what I'm talking about, because I do know what I'm talking about. Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Like I mentioned already, 10 out of 10 for sure. If you want to look at the labs that I've completed, I recommend taking a look at my GitHub. You can find a link to my portfolio in the YouTube description. Feel free to take a look, and if you're a professional, I would really appreciate your critique. Now for this support category, I think this is really what you make out of it. They offer a tremendous amount of support, and I would really encourage you, if you're going to take this course, lean heavy into the support. Josh Madakor has a Discord group of other students and graduates and even other teachers that are there and very willing to support you. But at first, I really didn't use the support. I felt very confident that I can go through the labs and go through all the lessons just by myself. I mean, what else do I really need, right? Josh Madakor can explain it and I'll follow his instructions. I'm somebody who's very good at following instructions, so I didn't think I really needed any type of support. But I was completely wrong, because even in my first lab, I found myself stuck and I had no idea why. For example, you're supposed to deploy two different virtual machines, virtual machine 1 and virtual machine 2 in Microsoft Azure. And after you deploy these two machines, you're supposed to test the network connectivity. Well, I did that. I deployed virtual machine 1 and then I deployed virtual machine 2. And when I went to test the network connectivity, it didn't work. So I'm like, okay, why didn't it work? So I deleted my virtual machines. I redeployed another two. I tested the network connectivity. It still didn't work. So I'm like, why is it not working? Let me watch the video again. I watched the video again. I redeployed the two machines and it still didn't work. And this is where I started to get very frustrated. And I think this is a really big part of the job, right? You get frustrated when you don't know what to do. So after racking my brain for like an hour, I'm like, he said it a bunch of times. Go into Discord, let's see if we can ask somebody, see if somebody else has done this lab before. And lo and behold, somebody did, and I asked them, hey, when I deploy VM1, VM2, and I test the network connectivity, they're not communicating, why? And some random person asked me a simple question. He said, how long did you wait after you made virtual machine 1 to make virtual machine 2? And I said, well, I made it right away, right? And he was like, don't do that. Wait 15 minutes. After you make VM1, wait 15 minutes and then make VM2. Then test the network connectivity. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense, but why do I have to wait? And then they explained that you have to wait for the network that's made with VM1 to completely propagate through the resource group before VM2 can be created on the same network. Basically, he's just saying wait. Now, it was such a simple solution, but I missed it because I don't have any experience. I did everything else right, but without the experience to know, I missed this small detail. Now, it might have taken me several hours to figure that out if I didn't ask for help. Or worse, I could have unintentionally waited after creating VM1 and then found it working and I wouldn't even know why it was working. The lesson that I learned there is that in IT, I don't need to feel like I need to know everything. And Josh Madakor explains that so many times in the course, but still there's like this thing like, no, I need to know it. But that's a big weakness. There is too much to know. Like Josh Madakor says in the course, there is infinite depth to any topic that you can pick in IT. And because there's so much to know, we need to really lean on our team, lean on our community, lean on our mentors. 2 minds are better than 1, but 3 minds get the job done. Now, to wrap up this support category, I'd like to mention that Josh and also the company Course Careers gives a ton of interview support. Josh has created a personalized Anki deck to help you complete the final exam of this course. If you don't know what Anki Deck is, you really need to use this because it's a game changer whenever it comes to studying for certifications or really helping you like fully grasp topic. Anki Deck is a free program that allows you to study with flashcards. It uses a concept called spaced repetition. It shows you flashcards that you already know very well less frequently, and it shows you flashcards that you're having a problem, a difficulty understanding more frequently. So you're constantly reinforcing the things that you don't know and then eventually being reminded of the things that you're familiar with less often until you really get to the point where you have a full grasp on what you're studying. I'm gonna go ahead and give this category a 10 out of 10 easily. There's just way too much that they give you in terms of support. The Discord community, like, you'll be shocked on how fast people reply to you and how much they're willing to sit there and help you understand these topics. I'm frequently in the Discord group, so you might even see me reply to you if you decide to take this course and you ask for help. You might even see me reply and help you out with some of your labs. And I didn't even touch on Josh Madakor's internship program. So there's just way too much for me to like not give a 10 out of 10. We're going to talk about that internship program a little bit later in this video. For career opportunities, I can definitely say this course definitely opens up the door for career opportunities. I think the only problem for me is that I haven't really benefited from it yet. Course Careers has an employer program that allows employers to search through a database of graduates from these courses so they can hire. Once you finish your course, Course Careers helps you complete what they've created as a graduate portal. This is where they help you showcase all of the projects that you've completed, and they even help you build a resume. Now, this is kind of interesting because the Course Careers graduate portal is separate from what Josh already helps you do. Josh already helps you create a portfolio on GitHub, and he also helps you create a resume. So it's like you have two different places to showcase your projects. Me personally, I leaned more toward the GitHub because that's more industry recognized, but I also created a graduate portal so that the employers on Course Careers can take a look at the work I did. But I will be honest, at the time of me recording this video, I finished this course about 2 weeks ago. I haven't had any companies reach out to me as of yet through Course Career. Now, my best guess is that this might be my fault because when you finish your final exam, you have the option to display your score in your graduate portal. So like when employers are looking at the database, they can see your name, they can see your picture, what you're looking for, and they can also see your exam score. Personally, I opted out to not display my exam score because I wasn't really proud of my score. I thought I was gonna get a really high score. Like, for example, let me give you a breakdown of the final exam. If I remember correctly, there's about like 45 multiple choice questions, and then there's like 25 questions where you either write, record, or you provide a link to one of the projects that you did. And for the 45 multiple choice questions, I know I nailed it. Like, I studied really hard. I used my Anki deck. I got very familiar with it. And I only got 3 out of those 45 questions wrong. But the ones where you had to either record or write the answer, whoever was judging my final exam, they judged it pretty harshly, I would say. And for most of those points, I only got half points. So if like a written answer is worth 5, maybe I only got 3 or 2. So because of that, instead of getting like above 90, which was my goal, I got like a 77. So my plan was to retake the exam, before displaying my final score on my graduate portal. And I think that might be one reason why employers aren't clicking my graduate portal, because they can see other people are posting their exams, but this guy hasn't. That's just my guess at this point. Again, I'm not really sure. I'll give an update in a later video if anything regarding that graduate portal changes. Now for this particular category, I think it might just be a tad bit unfair to give a score that reflects my personal experience, because in this personal aspect, I didn't do everything that I could have done to take advantage of Course Career's graduate portal. Like I said before, I more leaned into creating a GitHub portfolio and creating a resume that Josh Madakor recommended. So I really don't know if I could have benefited more from the Course Career's graduate portal if I had put more time and energy into it. All in all, what I can say is that most other courses do not have as much as a robust career placing program like Course Careers does. Course Careers already has many different companies that are a part of their employer program, which you can see right now on the screen. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, and let me tell you why, right? Mainly because there's a great amount of testimonials of people who have gone through this IT course and have testified to saying that they have gotten a job. And I think at the end of the day, like, that's the reason why you're doing this course, right? So you can break into technology, so you can get your first foot in the door. And if that's what we're ranking this based on, then it definitely hits that mark. 8 out of 10 feels good. Let's give it to it. All right, industry recognizability. As far as the rank and file HR department goes, this course does not hit the mark. I think it would be hard pressed for us to expect any HR department to know what Course Careers is if they see the certificate on your resume. I don't think they're going to be like, "Ooh, Course Careers." It's not as recognized as CompTIA, to be honest. I've never seen Course Careers IT professional certificate listed in a job requirement. So for that reason, I would think it's safe to assume that it doesn't have that much industry recognizability. Now, certificates that are common in the IT or cybersecurity realm are obviously the CompTIA Security Plus, CompTIA Network Plus, CompTIA A+. They have an industry recognizability rating I would give a 10 out of 10, simply because almost everybody requires them, and if you put them on your resume, they know what they are. Course Careers doesn't have that type of clout yet. I just have to be honest. It doesn't mean they won't, though. It's very possible that in the future they could develop that recognizability, and I believe they will one day, but not today. For industry recognizability, I give it a 3 out of 10, and this score reflects the fact that even though this certificate isn't highly recognized, it's still highly relevant as far as like what it's delivering, right? It could be more recognized, though. It just isn't at this point. But I will say that kind of helps the score is that although the certificate isn't really recognized, the labs that you do look amazing on your resume. They look very good. You're working with Active Directory, you're working with different scripting languages, you're working with servers, you're working with Microsoft Azure. Like, all this looks really good on your resume. This course allows you to freely make your own experience, as you can see on my portfolio that you can check it out on my GitHub, right? Josh Madakor takes his time to help you present your knowledge in a very great way that it stands out. And I think that's what really allows this course to, like, what overshadows the fact that it's not as industry recognized. So 3 out of 10, the worst score so far, but I still think it's looking good for this IT course. Here's our last category, which is investment to value. Is it worth it? Now, the answer to that question is definitely a yes. $499 for what you get. From my personal experience, that is a steal. Certs like Network Plus or A+, which is in the same price range, they really only get their value from the industry recognizability factor, right? If you have CompTIA Network Plus on your resume, it looks really good. employers, they know what that is, and like it's just recognized. They also assert the fact that you have foundational knowledge, right? It takes a lot to get these certs. There's a lot that you need to learn, and the fact that you have a CompTIA A+ certification, for example, just proves that you have that foundational knowledge. And that in itself is valuable. But CompTIA certifications, although I do recommend you get them, and I'm currently getting my own, they don't necessarily help you develop the practical skills that come with completing labs. This is where this IT course by Josh Madakor on Course Careers really shines. Because of the heavy emphasis on redoing the labs over and over and over again and the massive support, you actually find yourself becoming well versed in these technologies. You find yourself feeling confident, like you know what you're doing, as opposed to just memorizing a bunch of information or port number, right? When I first started using Microsoft Azure, it was kind of overwhelming. I didn't really know what to do, but after doing so many labs over and over and over again and deploying virtual machines and virtual networks and configuring virtual network interface cards, it's like, oh, I got this. Like I've become confident in what I'm doing, right? I learned how to deploy Active Directory. I learned how to configure virtual private networks. I learned how DNS works, which stands for Domain Name System. And it's not like I know what they are. It's like I understand what they are from an intuitive, experiential perspective. For those factors alone, it definitely makes the $499 investment worth it, beyond worth it. Now, keep in mind, I haven't even mentioned Josh's internship program, which I believe is worth $499 alone. This is basically a bonus or an optional part of this course that Josh gives you the opportunity to embark in. This is how it works. So you sign up for the course, you're going through it, you're taking the lessons, you're doing the labs, and then as you start to get really good at doing the labs, Josh gives you an opportunity to help other students in the Discord that are also going through those labs. It's almost like you're an IT support technician already, and people who are creating tickets by asking questions in the Discord, and as you respond to them, you're already handling those tickets. And when you do a certain amount of those, let's say tickets, for example, right? You help 15 people or 10 people, you document that, you send it to Josh, and then Josh will allow you to use him as a reference on your resume. And then on top of that, you can place on your resume that you have an internship at his company, which is called Log and Pacific. I think, like, when I saw that, I'm like, I don't care what I need to do. I'm going to help as many people as I can so I can get that internship, because it just looks good on your resume. It just looks great on your resume. And if you're somebody who's really committed to doing this and you do this course, make sure you get a part of that internship program, because, you need experience, and the fact that you're already helping people, you're in this pseudo IT support role is just worth the money. Now, for that one piece alone in the internship program, I think that makes this category 10 out of 10. I think there's people that would be willing to pay $499 to get into that internship program just by itself, because who doesn't want to have that experience on the resume? And that's just a free bonus on top of the course. But let's not forget the graduate portal, right? And something I haven't even mentioned to you yet, which is an additional mini course that the company provides on top of this IT support course, which is all about a job search strategy. The graduate portal page, that is specifically designed to showcase your work, showcase your resume. Some things I didn't mention before, right? Employers can book an interview with you directly from your page. They can see your projects. And there's also a feature that I've never seen before, which is you record verbally answered interview questions, right? Like FAQs. So they can go on your page and it's like a question like, what is it that makes you passionate about IT? And you can record your response and they can listen to you. They can get a sense of your personality, a sense of your communication skills. I've never seen that before, and I think that's really cool. Let me emphasize, this is free and that's included in the course. The last part that I'll mention is the mini course, which is the job strategy that the Course Careers teaches you. They really have it all laid out from you from the beginning. Like if you literally have no experience, you don't know what you're doing, like they've really laid it out for you A to Z. Troy, who is the CEO of Course Careers, takes over this IT course and he teaches this job strategy. And initially I thought, like, who is this guy? I like Josh better, right? I've been studying with Josh. Like, he's very knowledgeable. He has all the experience. Why is this guy teaching me? And just as I was like thinking that thought, he said this: the reason why I'm taking over the course is because I am the most qualified to do this, because I broke into technology sales at 18 years old and competing more qualified people with degrees and experience, end quote. After hearing that, I was like, okay, all right, you got my attention. I'll listen to what you got to say. And he delivered. I will tell you that he definitely delivered. Now, in the beginning of this course, I mentioned there was a tip that I was going to share with you that's a game changer. That tip is what I learned from Troy. It's a game-changing tip that beats just mass applying to jobs. To be honest, I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing this with you because it's a part of the course. You're supposed to get the course to receive this tip, but I'll explain to you the meat and potatoes. I won't give you like all the little context that I would say Josh is, I won't give you all of the secret sauce, but I'll give you like just enough where you'll be like, all right, like I got it. Like that's really good. Okay, so this is how the tip goes, right? You're looking for companies where you believe you have a competitive edge. You go on LinkedIn, you find out who is the director of IT, who is the manager, who is the person responsible for hiring your roles, and then you find their emails and then you send them an outreach email after you've applied. Now, if I just left you with that, I wouldn't be really helping you, so I'm going to give you more of what I learned in the course. Okay, Troy, don't be upset with me for sharing this. So the question is, how do you get their emails? Well, it's actually super simple. All you need to do is download a Google Chrome extension called Apollo.io. And then when you download this Google Chrome extension, anytime you go on somebody's LinkedIn profile, Apollo already has a database of these professionals' emails. So for example, let's say I'm applying for a job at the New York Times, and I find the page of the person who's in the HR department. As soon as I go on their page, Apollo on the right side of my screen will be like, here's this person's name, here's this person's work email, here's this person's phone number. And trust me, I didn't really believe that it had that as well when I first heard about it from Troy, but when I downloaded it and then used it, man, I would say like 95% of the time when I'm trying to get somebody's information to send them an email, Apollo already has it. That's the game-changing tip. So go ahead and take advantage of that. I think you'll be surprised at the results, right? Instead of just sending an application and crossing your fingers, now you're personally getting in front of the people who have the decision to hire you or not. To be honest, I'm not sure if I was supposed to share that with you, but I think I'll be okay because I didn't give away the proprietary script that Troy gave us inside Course Careers to send to those candidates. So if you want to get that script, you'd have to go pay for the course and learn directly from Troy, or you can just use ChatGPT to create your own email script that you'll send to those people. Now, need I say any more? Like, the investment to value category is definitely a 10 out of 10. I mean, come on, guys. Regardless of what I had to say today, what really makes or breaks this course is whether or not this course helps you get a job. And to emphasize that point, Josh Madakor has a playlist of people who have gone through this course and they have graduated and they have received jobs in a relatively short period of time. And that was really all it took for me to decide to do this, was listening to those interviews. And based on that alone, it's definitely worth the investment. Now, with that being said, I haven't seen him interview anybody from this course in a while. He's definitely focused more on his cybersecurity course, and I think that's okay. I'm part of the Discord group, and I see people graduating from this course every single week, right? They have a list of people who graduate and they shout them out and they say congratulations, and then we all say congratulations to those people. So there's still a ton of people every single day that are doing this course and are committed to it. There's even some people that I've connected with that we've started sharing information with each other and learning from each other. Now, with that being said, I've completed this course about 2 weeks ago, and at the time that I've recorded this video, I haven't found a job yet. But I think that also might be my fault, because I am being kind of picky. I'm looking for a remote job and I want to be paid at least $60,000. That is definitely not necessarily what Josh recommended. He specifically said don't be picky and, you know, be comfortable with a lower salary, like $50,000 a year. But I'm just looking for something to replace the money that I'm making now. So I'm okay with waiting a little bit longer to find a job than just taking whatever I can get. But with that being said, this is my first attempt at getting a job in technology. So maybe I should be a little bit more humble and realistic. I don't know. But I'm about to get into an interview like as soon as I finish recording this. Right now it's like 9 in the morning, and at 12, I have an interview with an agent. So I don't know. Maybe it was good for me to be picky. We'll find out. Like in a later video, I'll give you guys an update. That's the end of this video. I really want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave that down in the comment section below. If you've been thinking about getting into tech, that's what I'm currently doing. You know, let's see if we can collaborate. Like, you know, I'll share with you what I'm doing. You can take a look at my portfolio. You can get some inspiration out of that. If you want to sign up for this course, use the link that I provided below. That's going to give me a kickback, and it's also going to take $50 off of the purchase for you. I also didn't mention there's a payment plan option, right? You can pay $150 every 2 weeks, and you can even try the course for free. That's also available. I didn't mention that, but I don't know why I didn't mention that. But anyway, yeah, you can take a look at that. If you really enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you want to know what tall, bald black guys do in their free time, go ahead and subscribe. And also, I left the links to the playlists of all of the videos that kind of support the course, that help you understand the concepts, in the description as well. Take a look at that. With that being said, that's it. Peace. Take care. See you in the next video.